Hello, my name is Jennifer Marie Forcelli, but everyone calls me JFO, and I am the astro therapist. Basically, I teach and interpret the language of astrology. I have been teaching astrology for 15 years. I've been reading people's birth charts for 15 years, and what I've learned, the biggest thing I've learned is that astrology is an energy language. It describes people's behavior and certain energy. And my particular niche is really focusing on relationships and psychology and how people do the things they do, why they do the things they do, all of that. But I still, all the time, get a lot of questions about what's going to happen next month, what's a good time for me to ask my boyfriend to move in with me, all these kind of future things, future prediction type of stuff. And astrology definitely can help us understand what's going to happen in a certain way. But I personally don't like really to focus on astrology as a crutch to tell me what, the month of August is going to be for me. Why? Because life is a mystery. And truthfully, the future is unknown. Depending on what you believe, we really do create our own reality. So for me to say that the sun and the moon and Mars are going to be doing this in August, and it means that you're going to be doing, one particular thing in August, I feel that kind of takes away the feeling of that you have the power to make things happen. You have the power to wake up every day and make choices and do what you got to do. Plus, if I tell you that a planet is going to be retrograding one week and that you're not supposed to do something and you have to, then that's going to be a little bit debilitating, right? So I always like to have a little bit of an astrology disclaimer when I'm doing anything that's having to do with prediction work. Because, number one, I want you to know that I don't know your particular birth chart. So I can't hone in on the exact way the planets are going to fall into your chart. And so one way to really break through that problem is below this video, you're going to see specific information for each sign. And I don't want you just to read your sign. I want you to also read your rising sign. Now let me explain how this works. So a chart is really a picture of the sky at any moment. We could take a chart of the moment right now. It's just a snapshot, just like a photograph of a moment in time of where all the planets are. And we use a specific context to put these planets in, because if you're looking at a vast space in the sky, you need reference points. And what astrologers use is something called the houses. And this is my favorite part about astrology that most people don't know. You see, a chart is a 3-layered cake. The planet, the sign, the house. And each planet is ruled by a sign. Each house is ruled by a sign. So it's really just the 12 themes and 3 different layers. So I'm going to show you in a picture. See this beautiful circle that I have right here? So as you can see, we have the moon in Taurus in the 10th house. So that would be Taurus. The moon is ruled by Cancer. So it's a Cancer energy with a Taurus energy in the 10th house, which is the Capricorn house. So see how hard it is to read astrology? It's very, very, very specific. It's 3 layers. So if you're a Taurus, you're not just a Taurus. Oh, no, no, no. You are a Taurus in whatever house you're in, and that's why people are complex. They're not just one way. We're all very complex beings, and we're not all the same. Now, when it comes to the movements of the current planets now, what's so cool about that is that you take those planets and you place them in your chart. So let's use the Sagittarius chart right here I have. So Sagittarius is the first house right here. So when any planets are in Sagittarius, they're going to fall in this first house right here. To know what is this first house for you is called the rising sign. it is so super important to know your rising sign, because if you know your rising sign and then you read your horoscope based on that sign versus your sun sign, it's going to be extremely more accurate. But I advise you to read both. So you're going to see below a calculator where you can go plug in your birth information and find your rising sign. You need your time of birth, but once you do that, you're going to just know a lot more about the houses for your chart. And that's going to really help you with horoscopes. Another thing to note about this astrology disclaimer is that there's many influences going on in your life. Astrology, like I said before, is a very complex subject. If you analyze it too much, you can drive yourself a little mad. Sometimes you just got to let go and let be, right? So you've got the energy of your spouse's chart and their energy. You've got anyone that you're living with's energy. You have all the other planets in your birth chart. I mean, there's so many aspects going on at once. To say that this is the perfect time to do something, it can sometimes be a little neurotic. One of the biggest things that I teach with my work and why my business is called Astro Therapy is because there's that therapy aspect to everything. I like to call what I teach as JFOology. And the point of that is that I have a blender of spiritual tools, spiritual paradigms, and things that I use to kind of guide me in life and help me understand why things are happening the way they are. And that's just my JFO-ism, so to speak. And I believe that everyone should have their own blender of spiritual tools and spiritual things that help them explain the phenomenon of life. And, that's unique to you. So to say that astrology is the only way would end up not keeping you open, which is, I think, the biggest, most important thing to do in life. So now let's get to the fun stuff. Launching.